The Packers are a team that are in a brand new offense right now. Matt LaFleur has only been calling plays for 2 years, and I think it shows whenever they have to go off script. In the first and third quarter, their first drives, they're number 2 in the NFL in offense. As soon as they have to get off script in the second quarter and in the fourth quarter, they seem to nosedive a little bit. So if this new offense that LaFleur has instituted, not only Aaron Rodgers, by the way, has to learn this, but the rest of the offense can get a little bit better, and their defense can continue to thrive off of turnovers, I think this team will be a weapon in the playoffs because of Aaron Rodgers, let alone in spite of Aaron Rodgers, like people on this particular desk were saying just a week ago.
Rex.
Insanely.
New Orleans, San Francisco, Seattle. Is Green Bay as good as that group? Are they one of the teams you could see coming out of the NFC?
No, and we make excuses. The new offense, it's 14 weeks into the regular season. When does it become it's just our offense? So to me, Aaron Rodgers makes sense to me. You're 7-1 at home. He understands that first round or the second round of the playoffs is going to go through Green Bay for sure.
Yep.
So I get it. But, man, look, they gave up how many yards to the Bears? Mitch Trubisky looked like,
big
I don't
numbers,
know,
yeah.
like
they
whoever.
wound up adjusting Trubisky's number at the end. They took some of the yards away on that last play. But Trubisky did have a big day. Yeah. Packers, yes or no?
I mean, Rodgers last week said we're winning ugly. So, yes, if you're winning ugly, you're not going to have a ton of respect or people fear. I think the biggest thing right now is when you watch tape, teams don't fear all 11 guys on the Packers offense right now. I say that aware of what it says. No one defensively is fearing Aaron Rodgers right now. Watch the way teams are playing them.
I have loved pro football since the 1970s, and the Oakland Raiders are an intrinsic part of the sport and the Oakland fans. It flat breaks my heart to see that team leaving, not because they lost yesterday. Having said that, let's then talk about a man we all know well, and that's Jon Gruden. I interview Jon Gruden every single week for 11 years while he worked at ESPN. If there's one thing we know about him, his favorite quarterback is always the next one he can get. Derek Carr got booed by the fans yesterday when he went over to try to thank them. Yeah. Who do you believe will be Jon's quarterback when they get to Vegas next year?
Jordan Love. Jordan Love's the quarterback out of Utah State. That is going to be a first-round draft pick next year. They've got 2 first-round picks. Tua will be in the conversation as well, but Jordan Love is a guy that Jon Gruden will fall in love with.
You know, we had a meeting before the show started, and in the meeting we were going to say Tua Tagovailoa. I'm not sure exactly what happened.
You guys said Tua. You guys said Tua.
Listen, I don't know where you're coming with that sneaky stuff, but Tua Tagovailoa makes a lot of sense here. And he will fall, of course, probably more than he would have if he wasn't hurt, but I think he'll be there when the Raiders have that pick. And here's the thing about Tua. He is going to win Jon Gruden over in so many ways. Yes, the arm talent's there, but Gruden likes somebody who he can really talk the game with. He loves somebody with the intangibles. That's Tua. And when you worry about the health, I get it. It's going to be a question. It's going to be a topic of conversation. The doctors that performed this surgery are so confident that Tua will make a full recovery. He's going to have to make the commitment to it. He's already doing it. He's doing extensive rehab on that hip. I believe he'll be 100% and ready to go.
Yeah, but Laura, I believe the LA Chargers are going to take Tua.
And they picked before them.
Yeah, absolutely. So they're not going to be able to pass them up unless they have some huge trade. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the Tampa quarterback, Jameis Winston, ends up being, let's go ahead and swap those two out and see what happens.
With Jon, ends up with Jon in Vegas.
Absolutely. If you're going to throw out that kid that nobody's heard of, I'm going to say Jameis Winston.
Let me just tell you where they are. The Raiders have
and his interceptions.
The Raiders have 2 first-round picks. Right now, they would be tracking towards being 11 and 16 because they have Chicago's pick. We'll see where they wind up being. They could package them together if they really wanted to move up and get a guy like Tua.
Well, here's the thing with Tua. That is a massive risk that to take those first 2-round picks and move up, your medical staff better be 100% because it's not just about performance with Tua. It is going to be about health. We only look at Tua right now as like a value pick if he falls.
We'll also see if Jon falls in love enough with Justin Herbert. Joe Burrow is going to go 1 to Cincinnati. I think we all have him already off the board. Yeah. He may fall in love with Justin Herbert. He may want to trade up and take him. Are we buying the Texans, yay or nay?
I think you have to, especially if they're going to concentrate on the run game. And now I know they have a lot of weapons, but whenever they run the ball 45% of the time, they're undefeated, right? Because that sets up the pass game where they have so many weapons. Hopkins and Fuller, when they're on the field, Deshaun Watson's QBR, whatever, is up near Patrick Mahomes. He becomes a different animal. The defense is good. That game yesterday, a blocked field goal, by the way, for the Titans is something that was the difference in that whole thing. It's obviously going to be a big Week 17 matchup if the Titans can get by the Saints. But for me, I like the Texans Texans a lot. I think Deshaun Watson's playing very good, but you're 100% right. It's hit or miss. You never know if they're going to show up or not.
Yeah, and you're high on the Titans despite this loss. Why are they dangerous?
I am. I mean, look, we're talking about this Houston defense like they did something. They gave up 450 yards in this game. So to me, look, if the Titans, they're built to actually to go into New Orleans and win that game because of their weapons. Look, this looks like a basketball team at receiving.
Massive.
You know, they are that Brown kid, Corey Davis. You got Jonnu Smith, who, by the way, I mean, man, did he track that dude down on the
21 miles
interception?
an hour.
21 miles an hour. Thank you very much. And if Tannehill, like, we got to get the run game going more. And I wonder if it was Derrick Henry's that hamstring, did that bother him? Because they stopped running him. And everything Tannehill does is off the play action. So they got to get him healthy. If he is, I think they can go into New Orleans and actually win.
But that's why I was impressive by Houston. They made Tennessee play in a style that they didn't want to. And that's why I do believe in that defense. Don't pay attention to the Broncos game 2 weeks ago. They didn't show up.
No,
I think it's
just
about
throw that away.
I think the Houston Texans have the greatest the biggest width of potential for their football team. I could see this team going and make a Super Bowl run. I flat out can see the Houston Texans going to the AFC title game, and then I could see them losing in the first round of the playoffs. If they distribute the football to guys like Will Fuller and to Kenny Stills, and then have DeAndre Hopkins as the closer, their quarterback can get hot at any minute. Their defense can cover on the back end, and they're dangerous if they're doing those two things.
Bearing in mind that Baltimore just wiped the field with them recently, the big teams in the conference, which one do you think they don't want to see? Do they not want to see Houston or not want to see Tennessee?
I think you would not want to see Tennessee in the playoffs, strictly because of that run game if they can get it going and the defense is physical.
No, absolutely, I agree with that.
No way. They don't want to see Houston. They got one of the best players in the league.
I agree, but the run game travels.
They do, but that
run game travels.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports, highlights, and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.